Tonight and only on CBS 46, the state's Ethics Commission is opening a campaign finance investigation into a former Atlanta mayoral candidate.
The Georgia Secretary of State's office began looking into Kirsten Dunn after a CBS 46 investigation uncovered more than a dozen criminal charges in her past. One question remains tonight. How did she get on the ballot in the first place?
CBS 46 investigative reporter Rachel Polanski has been digging for answers. Rachel, what have you found out?
Believe it or not, when a person decides to run for office in Georgia, they do not have to undergo a background check. All they have to do is fill out and sign this notice of candidacy and affidavit. However, this document does hold some power, and it's likely that it will become the crux of the Secretary of State's investigation.
I just feel determined.
We introduced you to Atlanta mayoral candidate and convicted felon Kirsten Dunn last month, whose lengthy rap sheet includes charges of fraud, theft, and tampering with government records as recent as 2015. We also introduced you to some of Dunn's former employees and campaign staffers who say she never paid them.
I 100% fell for it, and then now I'm on the end of being scammed.
She played a lot of us, like we were all victimized.
Since our first report aired, more people have come out of the woodwork, including Janet Scott Mayfield, who invested $44,000 into one of Dunn's business ventures and says she did not see a penny in return.
It makes me feel pretty sad because we all work for our money, and she knew it was for ill intent.
She's really good with her words.
There's also Roosevelt Sears III.
I feel tricked, bamboozled.
Another Atlanta mayoral candidate who dropped out of the race and endorsed Dunn 1 week before the election.
It just reinforces, everyone's beliefs that politicians are crooks or liars.
CBS 46 Investigates has since learned that candidates do not have to undergo background checks. A spokesperson for the Georgia Secretary of State's office said the municipal election superintendent shall determine if the candidate is qualified to seek and hold the public office. While the municipal election superintendent told me, I'm not authorized to run criminal background checks. It's something that surprised Dr. Tammy Greer, a political science professor at Clark Atlanta University, who also offered a solution.
Could it be possible for candidates, particularly on the municipal level, to provide their own background checks when they are submitting their documents and their fees in order to be on the ballot?
There is one safeguard in place, though. This notice of candidacy and affidavit signed by Kirsten Dunn on August 20th, 2021, that says she has not been convicted of a felony involving moral turpitude. That's a crime done with evil intent. Her signature acknowledging that any false statement knowingly made by her will subject her to criminal penalties. It's likely that this is what the Secretary of State's office is now investigating. And as far as what happens next, Dr. Greer says this situation is much bigger than one candidate's actions.
It is critical that we get this process, get it under control, because how many other candidates may have violated this oath that we don't know about?
Now we asked Kirsten Dunn for a follow-up interview to talk about our new findings, but she wouldn't agree unless we sent her our questions beforehand. And of course, that's something that we just don't do. Sean?
Rachel, any updates on those state investigations that you just mentioned, though?
Right. Well, the Secretary of State's office is still investigating those allegations that Dunn falsely swore she was eligible to run for office, while the Ethics Commission is looking into her failure to file campaign finance reports in a timely manner. Sean?
Rachel Polanski reporting tonight. Thank you. Still ahead.